Hello, guys. If you have had subscribed to Sight Minds before, then you would know that I had this channel before as well with 600 plus subscribers or something. I think I was reaching to 600 or I already had 600. It's a long story. I got 3 strikes and all got unnoticed. And the day, literally after the third day, I noticed that I had 3 strikes already on the book Authentic Happiness, of course. Yeah. So I couldn't even delete those books. It didn't even have so many views. I just lost my channel. And yeah, it's okay. I am not sure if I will get my viewers back. Those who liked my content might search Psyched Minds. It is with the same name. But yeah, let bygones be bygones. It's my mistake only. So now when I stream, I would be covering like 90% of my screen with the name of the book or whatever image that I like. I can also use screen like slideshow types. I will maybe update with more creative ways to hide and save myself from copyright strikes. Yeah, right now I am going to read Norwegian Woods. I will just first check whether the stream is working or not. Then we will record it and then upload it like we used to do. If you are new to the channel, if you have never been to Side Minds, never visited my channel, which you can't find anymore at all anyway. So, yeah. So, again, this is a I just read books which I like. You can also give me your suggestions, whatever you like. And if you want me to read something, I would definitely read it. I love reading. Actually, I don't exactly love it that I would do it all the time, but I don't hate it definitely. And this channel. Initially, I made it for my discipline, and I loved it. And when it went, and when it was gone, I made another channel with only one subscriber, which is me right now. But yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I would at least be disciplined in reading. I have already read Norwegian Wood, and I don't completely remember what happened. It was long ago when I read it, but I just remember the feeling. I remember feeling very relatable. It's written well. I thought that because it was so famous, it was a classic, a Japanese novel. I thought that it would be hard to read, but it was very easy to read, very relatable, and first person view. It was dark, it was existentialist, I would say. Yeah. So I am going to read it again, and I am hoping because I used to like it. I don't remember it as well, so it will be like new but not new. Yeah, so I will be starting with Norwegian Wood with my renewed channel, escaping from strikes and being more active, at least in my Gmail, so that I can go through it. If I get the first strike itself, I can be cautious and be more aware how do I upload my videos. Yeah, my mistake. Sorry, YouTube. Sorry, guys. So my content, the content that I show or used to show, it was freely available. It's not like I am using someone else's personal work that I bought and I have to take permission. But yeah, okay, I get it, because it, especially the book that I got the strike for, it had test material which would not be available if you were, and it should not be displayed. It was to be done by a professional. So it is understandable that why that book particularly, or that publication house put the strike, and it was on different videos. So that's why I got 3 in a row without much gap and without much time for me to revisit it and be cautious and remove my videos. So yeah, again, like I said, let bygones be bygones. I didn't even check whether the stream is working or not. I might be just blabbering and it's not working. I didn't even check whether the stream is working or not. I might be just blabbering. Okay, it is working clearly. Okay, So, so separately, I'm reading The Silent Patient, which I think I will be doing on my own. Again, this will be the book Norwegian Wood that I will be reading for the stream, and I will record it. So, what I used to do, I would stream while reading the book, and I didn't used to do this, but if in between I feel something about the content that I'm reading, I would pause the recording and talk about that as well. So if you are tuning into the stream, you would also get to know my personal reviews, my point of view, etc., on the content that I'm reading. If anything that I want to add as a psychology student, I would do that as well, definitely. Yeah. So let me just recheck the audio, because when I started the stream, it seemed like there was background noise. Yes. Hello? Yeah, there is some background noise. Is it better or worse? Yeah. That is. Hello? Yeah, I mean. Hello? 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 Uh, hello? Yeah, this is fine, I think. Yeah. Okay, you must be feeling I don't want to tune into that stream. Okay. Yeah, this is where it works. E- now, I think that is. I need the second earphone as well. Okay. Is that. That. Now, is it. Is it better now? I hope so. Okay, stop listening, I think. Yeah, there is some. Hello? Hello? It's fine now. Let's check again. Now, am I fine? Is that okay? Is that okay? Something is. Something is. Something is. Okay, is that fine? Wait, is it better or not? I am not sure. Okay, better or not? I am not sure. Okay, better. There is still some slight noise in the background. Let me just switch off the AC. I mean, that should work. Now, how is it? Now, how is it? There is still some. Now, how is it? There is still some. Now, how is it? Okay. Hello. Hello. Okay, now it should be better, I think. Hello, am I audible? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, am I audible? Am I audible? Hello, 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 hello. Am I audible? Hello, hello, hello. Is that better or no? I doubt it is better, but like we can check. I doubt it is better, but like we can check. It's the yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is that worse or? Yeah, I mean it's fine, right? Okay. Well, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Okay, bro. I think this should be fine. I can decrease it or what? Like filters. Are there filters? Add. Mm. Okay. It should be better, I think, when I use the noise suppression. That is. Let's check. Again. Let's check. Again. Hello. Let's check. Hello. Oh my god, I just had to do the noise suppression. Oh my god. Oh my god. Amazing. All I had to do was noise suppression. Wow, bro. Now again, I listen. It's fine. Completely fine. Hello. Hello. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I was 37 then, strapped in my seat. This is what I'm talking about. I was 37 then, strapped in my seat. Okay. Amazing. Hello everyone. This is Psyched Minds and I welcome you all to the channel if you are my previous channel's viewers. If you know what I mean. I got my channel down because of my own mistakes. Okay. Yeah, so we are going to read Norwegian Woods. I am going to stream it If you want to listen to the comments, the on-spot reviews of whatever I read, you can go check out these streams that I would be uploading as well. Currently, I am streaming it and recording it. I will be uploading the recorded version on the channel and in the playlist section so that you can view the book and listen to the audios chapter wise uh, in an order, and it will be like listening to an audiobook of the of the book that I'm reading. Yes. So this is a book that I have already read by a Japanese author, Haruki Murakami, named Norwegian Wood. It is in first person view, first person perspective, as you can see in the description of the channel. It will be in my voice. I have hidden 90% of the screen so that I can prevent copyright strikes, if any, though it is easily available, freely available. You can also download your own version of the book from internet. So yeah, we are starting. It goes directly without any acknowledgements or anything, I think. Yeah, it starts directly to chapter 1, The Harville Press, London, for many feats, translated by the Japanese from the Japanese by J. Rubin. Okay. Chapter 1. I was 37 then, strapped in my seat as the huge 747 plunged through dense cloud cover on approach to Hamburg airport. Cold November rains drenched the earth, lending everything the gloomy air of a Flemish landscape. The ground crew in waterproofs, a flag atop a squat airport building, a BMW billboard. So, Germany again. Once the plane was on the ground, soft music began to flow from the ceiling speakers. A sweet orchestral cover version of the Beatles' Norwegian Wood. The melody never failed to send a shudder through me, but this time it hit me harder than ever. I bent forward, my face in my hands to keep my skull from splitting open. Before long, one of the German stewardess approached and asked in English if I were sick. No, I said, just dizzy. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure, thanks. She smiled and left, and the music changed to a Billy Joel tune. I straightened up and looked out of the window at the dark clouds hanging over the North Sea, thinking of all I had lost in the course of my life. Times gone forever, friends who had died or disappeared, feelings I would never know again. The plane reached the gate, people began unfastening their seatbelts and pulling luggage from the overhead lockers, and all the while I was in the meadow. I could smell the grass, feel the wind on my face, hear the cries of the birds. Autumn 1969, and soon I would be 20. The stewardess came to check on me again. This time she sat next to me and asked if I was all right. I'm fine, thanks, I said with a smile, just feeling kind of blue. I know what you mean, she said. It happens to me too, every once in a while. She stood and gave me a lovely smile. Well, then have a nice trip. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen. 18 years have gone by and still I can bring back every detail of that day in the meadow. So, I might be pronouncing it wrong, so forgive me for that. I love it. I love this book. I just remember how it makes me feel. It makes me feel of the longing, the loss, the nostalgia. Yeah, it makes me feel nostalgic. This is what this brings into me. Okay, I have paused it so that people who are going to listen to the recorded version of the book won't be disturbed by it. Because not everyone wants my views, right? Not everyone wants the review. And I just read the first paragraph and I can go back to how I loved the book. I like how it is already engaging, right? Okay, let's continue. Washed clean of summer's dust by days of gentle rain, the mountains wore a deep, brilliant green. The October breeze set white fronds of head-high grasses, swaying. One long streak of cloud hung pasted across a dome of frozen blue. It almost hurt to look at that far off sky. A puff of wind swept across the meadow and through her hair before it slipped into the woods to rustle branches and send back snatches of distant barking. A hazy sound that seemed to reach us from the doorway to another world. We heard no other sounds. We met no other people. We saw only two bright red birds leap startled from the center of the meadow and darted into the woods. As we ambled along, Naoko spoke to me of wells. Memory is a funny thing. When I was in the scene, I hardly paid it any attention. I never stopped to think of it as something that would make a lasting impression, certainly never imagined that 18 years later I would recall it in such detail. I didn't give a damn about the scenery that day. I was thinking about myself. I was thinking about the beautiful girl walking next to me. I was thinking about the two of us together, and then about myself again. I was at that age, that time of life, when every sight, every feeling, every thought came back, like a boomerang, to me. And worse, I was in love. Love with complications. Scenery was the last thing on my mind. Now, though, that meadow scene is the first thing that comes back to me. The smell of the grass, the faint chill of the wind, the line of the hills, the barking of a dog. These are the first things, and they come with absolute clarity. I feel as if I can reach out and trace them with a fingertip. And yet, as clear as the scene may be, no one is in it. No one. Naoko is not there, and neither am I. Where could we have disappeared to? How could such a thing have happened? Everything that seemed so important back then, Naoko and the self I was then, and the world I had then, where could they have all gone? It's true, I can't even bring back her face. Not straight away, at least. All I'm left holding is a background, pure scenery with no people at the front. True, given time enough, I can remember her face. I start joining images, her tiny cold hands, her straight black hair so smooth and cool to touch, a soft rounded earlobe and a microscopic mole just beneath it, the camel hair coat she wore in the winter, her habit of looking straight into my eyes when asking a question, the slight trembling that would come to her voice now and then, as though she were speaking on a windy hilltop. And suddenly her face is there, always in profile at first, because Naoko and I were always out walking together side by side. Then she turns to me and smiles, and tilts her head just a little, and begins to speak. And she looks into my eyes as if trying to catch the image of a minnow that has darted across the pool of a limpid spring. It takes time, though, for Naoko's face to appear, and as the years have passed, the time has grown longer. The sad truth is that what I could recall in 5 seconds all too soon needed 10, then 30, then a full minute. Like shadows lengthening at dusk, someday I suppose the shadows will be swallowed up in darkness. There will be no way around it. My memory is growing ever more distant from the spot where Naoko used to stand, where my old self used to stand, and nothing but scenery. That view of the meadow in October returns again and again to me like a symbolic scene in a film. Each time it appears, it delivers a kick to some part of my mind. Wake up, it says. I'm still here. Wake up and think about it. Think about why I'm still here. The kicking never hurts me. There's no pain at all. Just a hollow sound that echoes with each kick. And even that is bound to fade one day. At Hamburg airport though, the kicks were longer and harder than usual, which is why I'm writing this book. To think, to understand. It just happens to be the way I'm made. I have to write things down to feel I fully comprehend them. Let's see. Now, what was Naoko talking about that day? Of course, the field well. I have no idea whether there was such a well. It might have been an image or a sign that existed only inside Naoko, like all the other things she used to spin into existence inside her mind in those dark days. Once she had described it to me, though, I was never able to think of that meadow scene without the well. From that day forward, the image of a thing I had never laid eyes on became inseparably fused to the actual scene of the field that lay before me. I can describe the well in minute detail. It lay precisely on the border where the meadow ended and the woods began. A dark opening in the earth a yard across, hidden by grass. Nothing marked its perimeter, no fence, no stone curb, at least not one that rose above ground level. It was nothing but a hole, a wide open mouth. The stones of its collar had been weathered and turned a strange muddy white. They were cracked in chunks, were missing. A little green lizard slithered into an open seam. You could lean over the edge and peer down to see nothing. All I knew about the well was its frightening depth. It was deep beyond measuring and crammed full of darkness, as if all the world's darkness had been boiled down to their ultimate density. It's really, really deep, said Naoko, choosing her words with care. She would speak that way sometimes, slowing down to find the exact word she was looking for. But no one knows where it is, she continued. The one thing I know for sure is that it's around here somewhere. Hands thrust into the pocket of her tweed jacket, she smiled at me as if to say, "It's true." "Then it must be incredibly dangerous," I said. "A deep well, but nobody knows where it is. You could fall in and that would be the end of you." The end, ah! Splat! Finished! Things like that must happen. They do, every once in a while. Maybe once in 2 or 3 years. Somebody disappears all of a sudden and they just can't find him. So then the people around here say, "Oh, he fell in the field well." Not a nice way to die, I said. "No, it's a terrible way to die," said Naoko, brushing a cluster of grass seed from her jacket. "The best thing would be to break your neck, but you would probably just break your leg and then you couldn't do a thing. You would yell at the top of your lungs, but nobody would hear you, and you couldn't expect anyone to find you, and you would have centipedes and spiders crawling all over you. And the bones of the ones who died before are scattered all around you when it's dark and soggy. And high overhead, there's this tiny, tiny circles of light like winter moon. You die there in this big place, little by little, all by yourself." "Yuck! Just thinking about it makes my flesh creep," I said. "Somebody should find the thing and build a wall around it." "But nobody can find it. So make sure you don't go off that path." "Don't worry, I won't." Naoko took her left hand from her pocket and squeezed my hand. "Don't you worry," she said. "You'll be okay. You could go running all around here in the middle of the night and you would never fall into the well. And as long as I stick with you, I won't fall in either." "Never?" "Never." "How can you be so sure?" "I just know," she said, increasing her grip on my hand and walking along in silence. "I know these things. I'm always right. It's got nothing to do with logic. I just feel it. For example, when I'm really close to you like this, I'm not the least bit scared. Nothing dark or evil could ever tempt me." "Well, that's the answer," I said. "All you have to do is stay with me like this all the time." "Do you mean that?" "Of course." Naoko stopped short. So did I. She put her hand on my shoulders and peered into my eyes. Deep within her own pattern, those beautiful eyes of hers were looking inside me for a long, long time. Then she stretched to her full height and touched her cheek to mine. It was a marvelous, warm gesture that stopped my heart for a moment. "Thank you." "My pleasure," I answered. "I'm so happy you said that. Really happy," she said with a sad smile. "But it's impossible." "Impossible? Why?" "It would be wrong. It would be terrible. Naoko clamped her mouth shut and started walking again. I could tell that all kinds of thoughts were whirling around in her head. So rather than intrude on them, I kept silent and walked by her side. It would be wrong. Wrong for you, wrong for me, she said after a long pause. Wrong how? I murmured. Don't you see? It's just not possible for one person to watch over another person forever and ever. I mean, suppose we got married. You would have to work during the day. Who's going to watch over me while you are away? Or if you go on a business trip, who's going to watch over me then? Can I be glued to you every minute of our lives? What kind of equality would there be in that? What kind of relationship would that be? Sooner or later, you would get sick of me. You would wonder what you were doing with your life, why you were spending all your time babysitting this woman. I couldn't stand that. It wouldn't solve any of my problems. But your problems are not going to continue for the rest of your life, I said, touching her back. They will eventually end. And when they do, we'll stop and think about how to go on from there. Maybe you will have to help me. We are not running our lives according to some account book. If you need me, use me. Don't you see? Why do you have to be so rigid? Relax, let your guard down. You're all tensed up, so you always expect the worst. Relax your body and the rest of you will lighten up. How can you say that? She asked in a voice drained of feelings. Naoko's voice altered me to the possibility that I had said something I shouldn't have. Tell me, how could you say such a thing? Staring at the ground beneath her feet. You're not telling me anything I don't know already. Relax your body and the rest of you will lighten up. What's the point of saying that to me? If I relaxed my body now, I would fall apart. I've always lived like this, and it's the only way I know how to go on living. If I relaxed for a second, I would never find my way back. I would go to pieces and the pieces would be blown away. Why can't you see that? How can you talk about watching over me if you can't see that? I said nothing. I am confused, really confused, and it's a lot deeper than you think. Deeper, darker, colder. But tell me something. How could you have slept with me that time? How could you have done such a thing? Why didn't you just leave me alone? Now we were walking through the frightful silence of a pine forest. The desiccated corpses of cicadas that had died at the end of summer littered the surface of the path, crunching beneath our shoes, as if searching for something we had lost. Naoko and I continued slowly along the path. I'm sorry, she said, taking my arm and shaking her head. I didn't mean to hurt you. Try not to let what I said bother you. Really, I'm sorry. I was just angry at myself. I suppose. I don't really understand you yet, I said. I'm not all that smart. It takes me a while to understand things. But if I do have the time, I will come to understand you better than anyone else in the world. We came to a stop and stood in silent forest, listening. I tumbled pine cones and cicada shells with my toe cap, then looked up at the patches of sky showing through the pine branches. Hands in pocket. Naoko stood there thinking, her eyes focused on nothing in particular. Tell me something, Toru, she said. Do you love me? You know I do. Will you do me 2 favors? You can have up to 3 wishes, madam. Naoko smiled and shook her head. No, 2 will do. One is for you to realize how grateful I am that you came to see me here. I hope you will understand how happy you have made me. I know it's going to save me if anything will. I may not show it, but it's true. I'll come to see you again, I said. And what is the other wish? I want you always to remember me. Will you remember that I existed and that I stood next to you here like this? Always, I said. I'll always remember you. I'll always remember. She walked on without speaking. The autumn light filtering through the branches danced over the shoulders of her jacket. A dog barked again, closer than before. Naoko climbed a small mound, walked out of the forest, and hurried down a gentle slope. I followed 2 or 3 steps behind. Did you see that? How the author has just highlighted why it was so important to the remind himself, like how important for the protagonist was to remind herself of Naoko, why it was a problem that her memory was fading every time he had to concentrate and remember her face and put effort in it. He just described the scene and we got there, we felt it. Amazing. Come over here. I called towards her back. The well might be around here somewhere. Naoko stopped and smiled and took my arm. We walked the rest of the way side by side. Do you really promise never to forget me? She asked in a near whisper. I will never forget you, I said. I could never forget you. Even so, my memory has grown increasingly dim and I have already forgotten any number of things. Writing from memory like this, I often feel a pang of dread. What if I've forgotten the most important thing? What if somewhere inside me there is a dark limbo where all the truly important memories are heaped and slowly turning into mud? Be that as it may, it's all I have to work with. Clutching these faded, fading, imperfect memories to my breast, I go on writing this book with all the desperate intensity of a starving man sucking on bones. This is the only way I know to keep my promise to Naoko. Once, long ago, when I was still young, when the memories were far more vivid than they are now, I often tried to write about her, but I couldn't produce a line. I knew that if that first line would come, the rest would pour itself onto the page, but I could never tell where to start. The way a map that shows too much can sometimes be useless. Now, though, I realized that all I can place in the imperfect vessel of writing was writing our imperfect memories and imperfect thoughts. The more the memories of Naoko inside me fade, the more deeply I am able to understand her. I know too why she asked me not to forget her. Naoko herself knew, of course. She knew that my memories of her would fade, which is precisely why she begged me never to forget her, to remember that she had existed. The thought fills me with an almost unbearable sorrow, because Naoko never loved me. That brings us to the end of the chapter 1 of Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. I will be uploading it as you would be listening in the recorded version of the book. There will be no pauses. The next chapter will be uploaded in the succeeding streams, and you can listen to the recorded version from the playlist section of name the chapter name, name the book name, Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami, and you can listen to it like an audiobook. If there is anything at all, you can give a feedback to me. If you want to add something, subtract something, if there is any recommendation of the next book that I should read, anything that you like, you can do reach out to me in the comment section of the YouTube video that you are viewing or in the community section of the channel. Bye bye for now. Take care. Keep reading. Bye. I hope that the stream was fine. There are my views only. I am guessing 4 views, but all mine. Okay, let me just check whether. Yeah, it's fine. That brings us to the end of the stream. It wasn't such long a stream, right? 39 minutes only. Otherwise, there have been streams of 1 hour long. I will be uploading it on the channel in the playlist section. So here is the channel. here is the playlist. I have made a new playlist where I will be uploading this. Bye bye for now. Bye. If you have any recommendation, do write it.